Say Selenium class 5, Selenium test process, or you can say Selenium test life cycle. Yesterday we discussed the software test life cycle. Today, our area, Selenium test life cycle. First I will explain phases. Phases in Selenium test process. Selenium test process. Say in software test process we discussed 4 phases. Here that's test design phase divided into 2 phases, but both are combined. Observe. First one, as usual, test planning. Next, test design phase in manual testing is divided into 2 subphases in automation, but both are combined. Generate basic tests. Generate basic tests or test cases. Generate basic tests or test cases. What is basic test? Say writing plain navigation. For example, login functionality is there. Launch the browser, navigate to so and so URL. Next, enter username, enter password, click login button. That is general navigation. That is basic test. Next, enhancing test or test case means inserting verification point, one or more. Inserting verification points. Next, adding comments, parameterization, synchronization if required. Next, adding comments, error handling, etc. Okay, both are combined. See, third one, enhancing tests or test cases. Next, fourth one, test execution or run, synonyms. In automation, most of the time they use the run term, so use that one. Running test cases are and one more combined activity is there. Debugging test cases, combined activity. And one more thing, running or executing test cases is mandatory task in automation, not only in automation, in software testing, but debugging is optional. What is debugging? Locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. When we go for debugging, that I will explain in that 4th phase. Okay. Next, analyzing user need to analyze test result. Tool won't analyze test result. Tool can provide result. Analyzing test result and report defects See, these are the 5 important phases in Selenium test life cycle. Okay, now Jyotirmai, just before moving to next topic, just tell me what are the phases in Selenium test process or Selenium life cycle, Jyotirmai?
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
Test planning, test design, which has like no tool, like generating basic.
Remove that word first. Just a comparison
Okay,
point of view I told. Remove that word here.
oh,
Generating basic
generate
tests.
basic tests,
Hmm.
enhancing tests,
Hmm.
running and debugging tests,
Hmm.
analyzing test results,
Hmm.
reporting defects.
And reporting defects. Combine.
Defects, yes.
Continuous. Okay. Okay. Now first I am taking concentrate. Test planning. Test planning. Say here analyzing requirements all are not required. Why? There is manual testing activity. Here we select, here some special tasks are there. Automation point of view, observe. First one, all of you put mute. Somebody is making noise. Jyotirmai, after answering the question, put mute. Okay. Observe Vijaya. Observe.
Yes, sir.
First, get, here I am writing tasks directly enough. Get environment. Get environment. What environment? Application environment. Application under test environment. Suppose our application developed in .NET technology, backend is SQL Server. Example, get that application environment technology. Suppose our application developed in LAMP technology, LAMP, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. Okay. Here, what are the important things? One is UI, user interface. User interface design technology, user interface design technology, and database. Okay. Get environment. Important one. Forget about what is web server in our application, what is application server, what are the mediators, etc. UI, suppose user interface designed in HTML with Flash or only HTML. Suppose database is Oracle or MySQL or MS SQL Server, etc. See UI design technology and database from where? From development team. Next task. Okay, if it is UFT, observe Vijaya, formerly QTP. UFT is object based test tool. Selenium also element based. Element nothing but object
Yes, sir.
only. But here, no add-ons required for Selenium. Why? It supports web applications irrespective of add-ins. But if it is UFT, with the basic version of UFT, you can get 4 default add-ins: standard Windows, Visual Basic, ActiveX, and Web. But if you want to test SAP application, SAP add-in required, PeopleSoft application, PeopleSoft add-in required, Java application, Java add-in required. We need to load that Java add-in while launching the UFT tool. But here, no such type of add-ins, not required. Getting this point, Vijay, any confusion?
No, sir. I'm good.
Next, get environment details. After that, analyze. Analyze the AUT, application under test. AUT stands for real-time term.
Application under test.
Application under test, real-time term. Analyze the AUT in terms of object, or you can say element identification. Element identification. Say functional test automation tools, UFT or Selenium or RFT, etc.
RFT.
They are basically object-based or element-based test tools based on front-end objects, edit box, link, checkbox, radio button, etc. Based on front-end objects only, they can handle test operations. But exemption is there for database testing. For database testing, no front-end object reference is required. Using programming, you can communicate with databases, any database, and test. Okay, but no front-end object reference required. Okay, if it is UFT tool, using recording feature, we can analyze the AUT, record and playback some end-to-end scenarios. If tool is recognizing all of our application objects, then okay. Otherwise, go for solution. Otherwise, another one special feature is there in UFT, object spy. Using object spy, you can inspect elements. Here in Selenium WebDriver, no recording feature. Here in Selenium IDE, see, using just alternates are there. Using Selenium IDE recording feature. Just a minute. Using Selenium IDE recording feature, analyze the elements, record some navigation without checkpoint, verification points and playback. If tool is executing properly, then okay, otherwise go for solution. Or suppose if we are using Selenium WebDriver, most of the time we use that only. Using element inspectors analyze our AUT elements. Here if we use just a minute, if we use Selenium WebDriver, observe Vijaya, here element inspectors. What is the purpose of element inspectors? That we will discuss in WebDriver module. Just remember, using element inspectors, we can inspect elements. Inspection is required for writing test cases. Here observe, if it is Mozilla, any idea Vijaya? Mozilla Firefox, depends on driver. Mozilla Firefox browser, we can use page inspector. It is built-in feature. Built-in feature of Mozilla Firefox. Otherwise, add-ons. What are the add-on? You can download and install third-party add-ons. That is Fire, optional, Firebug, and all of you put mute, Firepath, Firebug and Firepath. Suppose if we are using, just a minute. Suppose Google Chrome or Internet Explorer browsers, developer tools, shortcut key F12. And one more thing, Vijaya, if we use Mozilla Firefox browser, Chrome browser or IE browser, inspectors may vary from one browser to another, but elements common, element locators common, element inspection details common, means element locators and their values. Suppose if you inspect elements using Mozilla Firefox, then you can write test cases using Mozilla Firefox or use same locators for Chrome and IE also. Any confusion, Vijaya?
No, sir, I'm good.
Other,
can I just,
ah,
sir, means no, just trying to understand, sir. So we are just trying to use this, what additional element inspectors like.
yes, element inspectors, browser features. Say,
Okay.
if it is
To
Mozilla
identify the
Firefox,
object.
page inspector built-in feature is there. If it is Chrome or IE, built-in feature developer tools are there. These are built-in, you no need to install. But for Mozilla Firefox, Firebug and Firepath, additional components available. Free software, free means open source. They provide more clarity than built-in feature page inspector. Otherwise, you can use page inspector. Continue, Vijay.
Sir, in case it means we can, it is something like we need to install or we need to give path like for Firebug and Firepath, sir.
No, we need to install. We need to install on Mozilla Firefox. That I will show in WebDriver test cases chapter.
Okay, sir.
Okay. See, continue, Vijaya. Next, important task: select test cases for automation. Select test cases for automation. Here observe Sirisha, one important point, 100% test automation is impractical, but we try to automate maximum test cases. See, even though time taking and TDS, manual testing is possible for 100% testing. Functional testing, performance testing, impractical, that is different. If it is functional testing, manual testing is possible for 100% testing. If it is automation, 100% testing is impractical, but we try to automate maximum test cases. Okay. Some test cases require manual observation. Okay, leave it that one. Next, one more thing. No restrictions and no limitations for selecting test cases. Sometimes it depends on company also. Observe Vijay, in interviews also you can explain like that. Suppose some companies start test automation process at beginning of the testing. Some companies start test automation process after first cycle of execution, means comprehensive testing. Some companies use test tools only for regression testing, but some companies use some companies start testing from at the beginning of the process, and some companies, observe Vijay, rare situation, some companies start test design process, test automation process after first release of the software, AUT. Why? Some companies use this one automation for maintenance testing. During maintenance, they can quickly process the customer requests. Okay, but no issues, no limitations. For example, in my company, for my current project, as per company management and customer interest, we started test execution process at the beginning of the project. First writing manual cases and selecting automation scenarios. For some comprehensive testing, then regression also we planned. But some companies use only for regression testing. Depends. But Anyhow, 100% test automation impractical, but maximum test automation possible. Any queries, Jyotirmai?
No, sir, I am good.
Okay, cool. Observe. Here, continue, Vijaya. Here, already I told no restrictions and no limitations for selecting, but usually we select some areas. I'm going to mention generic areas. For example, test cases. Test cases that test cases that can be executed on every software build. Every software build. If it is manual testing, every time taking process. Example, smoke sanity tests. Next, another area, test cases. Just a minute. Test cases that can be executed. That can be executed on every modified build. Regression test cases. Next, one more area. All of you put mute. Test cases. Just a minute. That can be executed. That can be executed using multiple sets of test data. Sets of test data. Example, data driven, not example, exact one only. Data driven test cases. Okay, now Vijay, any confusion?
No, sir.
Vijay,
Ha, sir.
any queries?
No, sir. We are in this. If all the three statements says that we are covering complete
Yes.
comprehensive testing we are doing, sir. Like.
Okay. And one more thing, this selecting automation is depends on company. Okay, but usually we go for these three scenarios. And one more thing, observe Vijaya. Anything else observe Vijaya? Test planning phase?
Yes.
Ah.
Retesting.
Pardon?
Retesting.
What is retesting? It is planning phase. Okay. Select Selenium tools and others for automation. Next, and configure. Observe Jyotirmai. Yesterday last topic we discussed na. It is not single software. We need to select tools and other utility, suppose framework, etc. and configure. Yesterday only we discussed. Suppose we selected Selenium WebDriver. Next, Java programming. Next, Eclipse IDE for writing programs. NetBeans like IDE is also there. Eclipse is popular. Suppose Selenium, TestNG, testing framework. Next, Mozilla Firefox. Example, Mozilla. Next, Chrome. Next, IE, browser drivers. Anything else? Observe. Suppose some page inspectors, etc. Here, give me steps. Smriti Pandey. Yesterday only we discussed. Suppose this is the selection, then how to configure? Just tell me the steps.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Sir, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
you need to remember. Okay. You continue. Sirisha. First download and install Java, especially JDK, Java Development Kit software from either java.com or oracle.com. This is operating system specific. Observe Jyotirmai, operating system specific. This is Java. It is also platform independent. Getting this point?
Yes, sir.
Our Selenium also open source. And one more thing, observe Sirisha, if you go to java.com or oracle.com, while agreement, click on agreement, it asks select Java for Windows 32-bit, 64-bit, Linux, Macintosh, etc. Operating suppose your operating system is Windows 32-bit. Select that option and download that executable file. Suppose Linux. Select Linux option and download that executable file. Continue, Sirisha. This is one. Download. Next, download. Important steps. Download and extract. Download and extract
Eclipse ID.
Eclipse IDE. No need to install. It is for to write programs. That is general. In our scenario, program means test scripts. It provides editor, compiler, provision, editor and compiler tools. Next, third step, set
Setup environment.
environment. Set environment variable. Set environment variable. That variable name also path. Name of the variable path. Set environment variable. What is the purpose? To access
Java from
Java
any
software. To access Java software. Just a minute. Software from any directory or all directories of the system. Okay. Next, continue, Sirisha.
Download Selenium WebDriver.
Good. Download Selenium WebDriver In our scenario, we are using Java. So Java, language specific bindings. Observe Jyotirmai. Suppose if you
Yes,
use
sir.
Ruby with Selenium WebDriver, that software is different. They provide
Yes.
those softwares in seleniumhq.org one by one, but
Mm-hmm.
Java binding different, Ruby binding different, other bindings different. Okay. Download Selenium WebDriver. Just a minute. Download Selenium WebDriver. Java. Java language. Java language. All of you put mute. Binding from. All of you put mute. After answering the question, put mute. Jyotirmai, every time you are placing the problem. After answering the question, put mute. Whenever you want to ask any query, unmute it. After clarification, again put mute. Otherwise, recorded session will be disturbed. Okay. And one more thing, already I told, remaining people systems not making any noise while unmute also. But Jyotirmai, you try to set that one at least by Monday. Some noise from your side.
I don't know, sir, but I am not able to hear anything from here. I don't know why.
Okay, cool.
I will fix it. I'll
Okay,
try to
try.
fix it.
But remaining people only in mute mode. If you unmute, no issue. Okay, unmute it. Sorry, mute it. Mute it. Cool. Okay. Come, Sirisha, download Selenium WebDriver Java language binding from seleniumhq.org. This is the official site of Selenium. Okay. Next, and add
Java project in
and
Eclipse
add
ID.
WebDriver. These WebDriver. Add WebDriver jar files, Java archive files, jar files to Java project. First, we need to create Java project in Eclipse before writing test cases. That I will show in practical chapter. Jar files to Java project where? In Eclipse IDE. In Eclipse IDE. Just a minute. Next, just a minute. Observe Vijay. Continue Sirisha. Download
Testing framework.
and install TestNG testing framework from
Eclipse
ID, not from operating system or desktop. Okay. Next, last one. Download browser. Pardon?
Browser drivers.
Yes, browser drivers. For example, Firefox. This driver name is Gecko driver. Remaining same. Chrome driver, IE driver server. Chrome and IE, etc. Download browser drivers and no need to install. Instantiate in test cases wherever required, not all. Okay, this is okay na. Smriti. Smriti. Okay, Sirisha. Just a minute, Sirisha. Smriti.
Yes, sir.
What about you, Sirisha? Sirisha.
Yes, sir.
Bala Subramaniam. Any confusion? Forget about subtopics, Balasubramaniam. Tell me the highlights of 4 topics. 4 topics I explained, Balasubramaniam. Test planning phase, important tasks, Selenium automation. Balasubramaniam not responding. Vijay, tell me the 4
Yes, sir.
important tasks of test planning phase in Selenium test process.
Sir,
One is
get
get
environment.
environment details. What environment? Application under test. AUT
And what
environment
application we are
details.
working?
Important details are UI, user interface design technology. Why? Elements inspection required. Next, database. Why database? In order to communicate with database information required. From
Dev team, sir.
development team. Good. Second one,
Sir, analyze the AUT, sir.
analyze
In
the
terms of
AUT
object.
in terms of object or element identification. Already I told, in functional test automation, important thing is identifying objects based on front-end objects only. Functional test automation tools like UFT or RFT or Selenium conduct test operations. Okay, Bala. Next, and one more thing, real-time point. Observe Jyotirmayi. Just observe that major challenge in functional test automation, object identification or element identification. Object and element both are synonyms. Major challenge in functional test automation, object identification or element identification or recognizing elements, etc. In interviews also
Sir,
you
I
can
have a
explain.
question.
Hello?
So I'm not. So I have a question. I'm not clear. What is element here?
Element means edit box is element.
Okay.
Observe the web elements. In a Selenium WebDriver chapter, I will explain. Anyhow, observe Smriti. You don't know element? It is very
No,
elementary
sir.
question. Okay, observe. Web elements. Our environment is web. That's why I am calling web elements. Otherwise, you can just say element. Suppose edit box in web page. Element. Checkbox. Radio button. Next link. Next combo box. List box. Drop down box. Etc. All these are elements. Any confusion, Smriti?
I'm good, sir. I got it, sir.
Okay,
Thank
cool,
you.
cool. Observe. Suppose build 3 admin. Observe Smriti. Okay, question is okay. Sometimes it is good question, but low level question. In this web page, some elements are there. In Selenium terminology, we call elements Smriti, but in UFT terminology, formerly QTP, we call object. Actually,
Okay, sir.
object, element, both are synonyms. Observe Smriti. Here, username edit box is there. It is element. If you want to enter some data into this edit box, first Selenium has to recognize that element, then enter the value. For that, WebDriver commands available that we will discuss later. Password is element. Login button is element. Support site link is element. Online catalog link is element. Next, administration link is element. Administration link is element. Next, GCR shop image is element. Any confusion, Smriti? Getting?
I got it, sir. Thank
Okay,
you so
cool.
much.
All of you put mute. Continue, Vijay. Major challenge in functional test automation is object identification or element location. If tool can recognize all of our application front-end elements or objects, then automation is simple. Continue.
Using for
Third one.
WebDriver for Selenium IDE recording feature
Okay, I
analyze
am
the
not
elements,
asking
sir. For IDE,
I am not asking how to inspect elements. Just headlines, 4 headlines. First one, get environment details. Second one, analyze the AUT in terms of object identification. Third one, select
test cases for automation, sir.
automation. Last one, fourth one.
It depends.
Depends.
Depends like which. And last one is select Selenium tools and others for automation and configuring, sir.
Yes, others means suppose TestNG is other, Java is other. Okay, select Selenium tools and others and configure. Okay, now Jyotirmai, shall we move to next topic? Any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay,
We
cool.
can move.
Observe, important one. Anybody having QTP knowledge in our batch? Jyotirmai, QTP knowledge. Any participant? Pardon?
Little bit.
Little bit, okay. Vijay?
Only basics a little bit like.
Okay, cool.
Sir, little bit knowledge, sir.
Okay, cool. No issue. Observe. Say generating basic tests. Already I told in manual testing we used test design. Here we used 2 subphases instead of test design. One is generate basic tests. Another is enhance tests. Both are combined. What is the meaning of generating basic tests? Creating plain navigation. Only test statements, test steps. Here no verification points, no comments, no exception handling that we will use in enhancing tests. First, our main focus is generating basic tests. Suppose login functionality is there. First, launch the browser, navigate to icicbank.com, select login link, enter account number, enter password, click on sign in or login button. That is general navigation. So generating basic test. Suppose as per test requirement, after launching you need to verify that user home page available or not. Insert verification point, that is enhancing test case. Okay, combined both come under this one, test design only. Next, suppose you are writing meaningful comments for some statements, enhancing. Suppose for some steps, synchronization, wait statements are required, inside. Suppose for 2 inputs, data driven, multiple sets of test data required as per requirement. Example, as per customer, use parameterization feature. That is comes under enhancing. Okay, observe in UFT. Why I am comparing every time with UFT and Selenium. Already I told both are market competitors in this area. What is this area? Functional test automation. In functional automation, Selenium, UFT, like that. Suppose in performance test automation, load runner, JMeter, like that. Okay. Say, observe, Vijay, how to create basic tests in UFT tool. In UFT. Say, in UFT we have 2 possibilities. In UFT we have 2 possibilities, Vijay. One is, tell me, Vijay, how to create tests in UFT?
Sir, one is Windows based and one is browser based, sir. So we need to first
Absolutely
analyze.
wrong. What is my question? How to generate basic tests in UFT? If it is Windows based application or web based application, that concept is common. Don't confuse.
Recording, sir.
Recording is one facility. Next.
To writing scripts through VB script, sir.
Not VB script. Recorded script also. So many people confusing. Recorded script also VB script syntax. If you record, browser of Google dot close. What is that close method? Close method developed in VC++.NET. That syntax is VB script only. Getting this point, but tool can generate the statement. Say recording one facility is there, otherwise descriptive programming is there. Getting this point, Vijay, descriptive programming. Here we enter properties, object properties information directly in test statements. But descriptive programs, so many people saying descriptive programming belongs to VB script. No. Tool, UFT tool only recognizes objects if it is recorded script or descriptive code. But VB script for enhancements, inserting verification points, error handling, adding comments, you can use all VB script features for enhancing test cases or tests. You can use VB script variable syntax, operators, VB script object models, file system object model, Excel object model, Word object model, database object model in order to communicate with files and databases. But UFT tool only recognizes objects. Okay. And one more thing. In high level orientation in UFT, we have two methods for generating tests. Object oriented. Observe Jyotirmai. Object oriented test design. Another is descriptive programming, non-repository, without repository. Descriptive programming means without repository. We will provide object information directly. Again in observe Jyotirmay, again in object repository based test design, we have two sub methods. One is recording. Recording uses local object repositories. Another is shared object repository. Here the term is keyword driven methodology. Keyword driven methodology. What is keyword driven methodology? Generating tests using shared objects without recording, but both uses object repositories only. This is object repository, not object. Descriptive programming also object. Object repository. Descriptive programming also based on object, but not object repository. Not object repository. Non-object repository. Just a minute. Repository. Say, observe Jyotirmai. One is recording or keyword driven methodology. Both come under object repository based test design, oriented or based test design.
Yeah.
If you use recording, it uses local object repositories internally. UFT only creates and uses local repositories. Otherwise, you can create shared repositories. While creating tests, you can type test steps manually if you know the syntax. But here also two types. One is static programming. Static programming. Another is dynamic programming. Anyhow, it is not our syllabus. Dynamic programming. And one more thing, observe Sirisha. In high level orientation, we have two methods. Object repository based test design. Another is non-object repository descriptive programming. But when it comes to low level, in object repository based test design, again two types, subtypes, recording or keyword driven methodology. In descriptive programming also two subtypes, static programming or dynamic programming. And one more thing, UFT supports hybrid approach, Vijay. Means suppose in your project total 200 tests are there. Use object repository based test design for all 200 tests, or based on your company management strategy, company strategy, or customer interest, or use descriptive programming feature for writing all 200 tests, or some tests using suppose 100 tests using object repository, or remaining and 100 tests using object repository and remaining 100 tests using descriptive programming. No problem. UFT, formerly QTP, supports hybrid approach for writing tests. Or observe one more thing, Vijay. Suppose in my project 200 test cases are there. I am writing 50 cases using recording, 50 cases using keyword driven, both command or object repository based. Next 50 using static programming, 50 using dynamic programming. Okay, handling complex, but it supports. Any problem, Vijay, getting this one?
No, no, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay, cool. What about you, uh, Sirisha? Did you understand this concept? Creating tests in UFT, formerly QTP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Pavani Yogendranath. Pavani.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Next, in Selenium. Here observe Pavani. Observe. Pavani, you guide me for this second phase, simple phase only. Next phase, Jyotirmay will guide me. Okay. In Selenium, what is the process? Generating basic tests. Here observe Pavani, we have 4 tools in Selenium suite. Eliminate Selenium RC. Why? That is outdated. Successor of Selenium RC is Selenium WebDriver. And one more thing, latest version of Selenium 3 also, that Selenium developers removed Selenium RC implementation. In Selenium 2 only available. Selenium 1 and Selenium 2 versions available this Selenium RC. So eliminate Selenium RC. Next, eliminate Selenium grid also, Pavani. Why?
Okay.
Why? Selenium grid is not for test design. No facility for test design, only for test execution. That too parallel test execution. So we no need to consider Selenium grid for test design now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here, first I am taking Selenium. Just a minute. Selenium RC eliminated, Selenium grid eliminated, Selenium IDE. If it is Selenium IDE, then what are the possibilities for generating basic tests? Record
and playback.
Playback is execution, forget about.
Okay.
Using a recording feature. Using a recording feature. Record manual actions on AUT, then Selenium IDE generates corresponding test steps. Otherwise, another facility is there, or type test steps, test steps using, suppose if you know the syntax, you can type test steps, both scripts same. If you record or type step, syntax same for IDE, but WebDriver syntax is different from IDE, that is different case. Recording feature or type test steps using Selenium. Observe the terms. Selenium commands. We already discussed. Selenium IDE commands are called as Selenium commands. Selenium IDE commands called as Selenium commands, and element locators. That is one possibility. That is generating basic tests. Next, observe Pavani. What is that person? Pavani?
Yes, sir.
Next, Selenium WebDriver is there now? Selenium WebDriver. How to design basic tests using Selenium WebDriver? Here no recording. Using, just a minute. Using element locators and WebDriver.
API commands.
WebDriver application programming interface commands. Otherwise, you can just say WebDriver commands. Enough.
Yeah.
Commands, or you can say methods. Okay. This is a brief introduction about generating basic tests. Okay, now Pavani, any confusion?
No, sir. Clear.
Okay, cool. Now come, Jyotirmay. Okay, before moving to next topic, Jyotirmay, observe this generating basic tests. First, I explained UFT, formerly QTP, then Selenium. I used Selenium IDE and WebDriver, and I eliminated Selenium RC and Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid not for
Grid,
test
yes.
design. Selenium RC outdated. Next, any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. Third one, enhancing
Test case.
test cases.
Test cases.
Enhancing test cases. Here, already I told, generating basic test means creating plain navigation. Enhancing test means inserting verification points, adding comments, error handling, etc. with respect to test requirements. Here, I will explain Selenium WebDriver capabilities. Try to understand. Before that, I will explain UFT also. See, verification, important one. Observe Bhairappa, what is that one? Vijay, verification points, one or more. Suppose in a test case, you can insert one verification point or multiple verification points. How to insert verification points, Vijay? Suppose if it is EFT.
Sir, using we have that checkpoints, no, sir?
Yes,
Database checkpoint.
yes, using checkpoints feature of UFT, feature in UFT or Visual Basic Scripting Edition, VB script, conditional statements. Okay, na Vijay?
Sir.
Next, in just a minute, in Selenium ID. Anyhow, leave Selenium ID, but understanding point of I am using Selenium ID. I am explaining Selenium ID also, but in future you leave the ID. Focus on Selenium WebDriver only. Enough. If it is Selenium ID, using verify, or what is verify or what is assert, I will explain. Assert, using verify or assert, anyone, both are same in purpose. Some difference is there. What is the difference? I will explain in Selenium ID chapter. Verify or assert methods. or not methods, commands, Selenium commands. Next, in Selenium WebDriver, observe Jyotirmai, in Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver doesn't have any built-in features, Jyotirmai. Any built-in features, then say using we use any one programming language along with Selenium WebDriver. If it is Java or Python, so using programming, Java or anyone, programming, flow control or control flow means conditional loop statements, control flow statements, or suppose if you use any testing framework, Jyotirmai, testing framework also having verification methods, assertion, assert methods called as verification methods. Say testing, testing framework, verification methods. In future, I will show verification methods. If it is in our scenario, testng or JUnit. Names may vary, purpose same. Okay, now this concept, Jyotirmai, verification points. Next, second one, for example, parameterization, important one, parameterization. What is parameterization? What is parameterization?
Replacing the constant values with parameters.
Yes. See, replacing constant values with parameters. Next, data-driven testing is there. Testing with multiple sets of test data. What is the relation between data-driven testing and parameterization, Jyotirmai?
Parameterization is a global one.
Yes, global one. Data-driven testing is a local one.
Local.
Parameterization means passing. Say, passing single value or multiple values is called as parameterization. Passing single value or multiple values. Sometimes in user defined methods we pass single value only. Sometimes for data driven testing we use multiple values. Anyhow, replacing constant values here, not programming constant, English term constant, fixed value. Suppose username Jyotirmai, that Jyotirmai is constant value, fixed value. Suppose instead of Jyotirmai, I am using ABCD parameter. While executing the test case, I will pass the value to parameter, that is different. Constant, replacing constant values, one or more, with parameters. Here we can use variables or arguments, something. Okay, now Jyotirmai, next observe.
Yes.
Executing, or you can say testing, executing, just a minute, executing same functionalities, tests or test cases, tests or test cases with multiple sets of test data is called data driven testing. Observe Jyotirmay, similarity is there in between data driven testing and parameterization. Both are replacing constant values with parameters. Both are for replacing constant values with parameters. But difference is there. Parameterization global. Why? Not only replacing multiple values, replacing single value also parameterization. But data driven testing means passing or replacing constant values with multiple values. Single value meaningless. Getting this point?
Yeah.
And one more thing, observe the relation. We use which one is superior? Parameterization. We use parameterization. Some are saying parameterization, data driven testing, same. No, parameterization is programming feature, global feature. Data driven testing is local feature of test automation. Okay, we use parameterization feature in data driven testing. Data driven testing. Okay. Here for parameterization, Sirisha, I think Sirisha not having. Okay, Sirisha, any idea in EFT, formerly QTP, how to parameterizing or how to conduct data-driven tests, data-driven testing?
No idea, sir.
Okay, Vijay,
Sir, using data table, sir.
yes, using data table. Say EFT has an integrated spreadsheet like integrated spreadsheet called data table for data related operations like data driven testing. Okay. Otherwise, using data table, Excel like spreadsheet, it is UFT tool feature, but in WebDriver, no such type of features. Even though in Selenium IDE, it is having IDE, but no such type of feature. It is vendor tool. Okay. Using data table or using visual basic scripting edition, uh, automation automation objects, we can conduct data driven testing. Observe Jyotirmay,
Yes, sir.
VB script automation objects are there. For example, file system object, Excel object, Word object, database objects, ADODB dot connection, ADODB record set, etc. Suppose you are using flat file for test data, you can use file system object in VB script, Excel file. In order to work with Excels, use VB script Excel object model or VB script database object model. Otherwise, tool feature data table is there. Getting or any confusion, this feature, this point, Jyotirmay, confirm Jyotirmay, confirm. Jyotirmay not responding. Continue,
I am
Sirish.
good, sir.
Okay, cool.
I
Just
am good,
confirm.
sir.
Okay, confirm. Next, in observe Sirisha in Selenium IDE, no support. Next, in Selenium WebDriver, WebDriver. See, programming file handling feature. Observe Jyotirmai. Suppose if we use Java programming, you can handle flat files, Excel files, etc. File class is their predefined class. Suppose if you want to work with Excel third-party jar files are there in internet, freeware, download and install and work with Excel. Using text files or Excel files or other type of files, you can create test data and conduct data-driven testing. But Selenium WebDriver doesn't have any built-in feature. Okay, na? Jyotirmai,
I am good.
just a minute.
Okay.
This is about parameterization. Next, observe Pavani, subtopic. Pavani, synchronization.
Yes, sir.
Synchronization. Do you hate this term synchronization, Pavani?
I had, sir.
Okay, observe what is synchronization. And one more thing, synchronization is optional feature for our test cases, not mandatory. Why? Synchronization is required only for some test cases, not for all test cases. What is synchronization? It is a process of mapping the speeds of both AUT and test tool, Selenium or UFT, anything. AUT and test tool in order to get proper execution. Okay. Next, why synchronization? During execution, test tool can give instructions one by one with same speed, but application executes some steps quickly, some steps slowly. Here we cannot blame the application also. Suppose enter a value into 8 box, application can respond quickly. Next, click on a link, application can respond quickly. Suppose downloading process, uploading, they may take more time. Here we cannot blame the application also. Observe, during test execution, application takes less time for some steps execution and more time for some steps execution. In order to make tool and AUT in sync, synchronization is required. When it is required exactly, suppose Selenium WebDriver synchronization time is 30 seconds, UFT synchronization time is 20 seconds. Suppose in Selenium WebDriver, any step takes more than 30 seconds for execution, their synchronization required. How to identify synchronization problem? Just perform, after creating test cases, just perform dry run, sample run, then you can identify. Anyhow, that we will discuss in synchronization chapter. Just remember what is synchronization: mapping the speeds of both AUT and test tool. Mapping the speeds of both AUT and test tool in order to get proper execution. Here we use Vijay in UFT, how to synchronize UFT and application under test. Vijay. Sirisha.
Yes, sir.
How to synchronize UFT and application under test in QTP or UFT?
By mapping the speeds of both you.
I am not asking what is synchronization. How to synchronize. Concentrate. How to synchronize?
With
Using synchronization point. Preeti,
yes, sir. It is
using
wait.
synchronization point or wait command or another feature, increase tool default time. Okay, na? Next,
Yes, sir.
in Selenium IDE, using synchronization, synchronization timeout feature. Synchronization timeout setting is there. You can change. Next, in Selenium WebDriver, for Selenium WebDriver, no built-in features. So, using programming only, using programming feature, programming wait feature, that is thread.sleep, or WebDriver commands also there. WebDriver command with option. Here, as like in UFT, here also two types of synchronization possible. One is conditional. How to synchronize, that I will show in synchronization chapter. Conditional synchronization. Conditional synchronization. Next, unconditional synchronization. Conditional synchronization. Next, unconditional synchronization. What is conditional, what is unconditional, I will explain in synchronization chapter. Next, observe Jyotirmayi. Error handling.
And error handling. Yes.
Important one. Error handling. Say,
Handling expected.
handling expected. Just a minute.
And
What is expected error? What is unexpected error? That we will discuss later.
okay.
Here only roadmap. Handling expected and
unexpected.
unexpected errors is called error handling. Here, suppose in EFT, using recovery scenarios. Observe Vijay. Recovery scenarios is a tool feature, not programming feature. Or VB script. VB script features. For example, conditional statements. Next, error object also there. VB script features. Next, in Selenium WebDriver. Anyhow, IDE doesn't support programming. In Selenium WebDriver, using programming features, no built-in features. For example, in our Java, exception handling in Java. Okay, na Jyotirmayi, any confusion?
I'm good.
Okay. Next, come to one more thing, yarding comments. Say purpose of comments to make the code readable or understandable, and to disable the code from execution. Suppose I have 100 lines of code, want to execute only 70 lines, you can make remaining 30 lines as comment. Whenever you want to execute all lines of code, you can uncomment. Here in UFT, we can use VB script comments syntax, single quote, or group of that one. Some shortcut keys available for multiple lines comment. Next, just a minute. Observe Preeti, in Selenium IDE. Yes, here also comment syntax is there, using Selenium IDE tool. Comments syntax. See, insert comment syntax is there, or using comments feature, insert comments. Next, in Selenium WebDriver, Preeti, how in Selenium WebDriver here no built-in feature?
The forward slash we use, right, for the comments.
I am not asking how to comment, how it comment. First of all, how it supports.
It
Doesn't support. Vijay.
Same, sir. The syntax command. Using same syntax.
No syntax command here. Using programming syntax. Suppose if we use Java, then use Java command syntax. Python syntax. Any problem, Preeti?
No, sir, I'm good.
Cool. Now come to, okay, Jyotirmayi, go back, means put mute. Now come to next phase, Preeti, fourth one, running and debugging test cases. Running and debugging test cases. Observe, Preeti, running means executing tests or test cases mandatory, but debugging optional. When debugging is required, I will explain. But observe the sequence, running and debugging and running, that is the cycle. First run, executing properly, continue, Suppose any problems are there, debug if required, then again run. See, this is the cycle. Run if required, debug if required, again run if required, debug, like this. Okay na, Preeti Joshi?
Yes, sir.
And one more point I told, running test cases is the mandatory task in software testing. If it is manual testing or automation, software testing. But debugging test cases is an optional task. And one more thing, in manual testing, no debugging term only in automation. In manual testing, this debugging not applicable. Automation. Just a minute. Okay, first I am taking running tests or test cases. Observe, Preeti, basically we have two types of test run. One is single test run or individual test run. Another is batch run, executing series of test cases. In manual testing also, batch testing concept is there, but user means tester interaction is required for every test case execution in manual testing. But if it is automation, user interaction optional or not required for test execution. Tool can execute series of tests continuously, means one by one. Okay, here running tests. What are the important tasks? Run single test. Next, batch testing. Observe, Smriti, UFT formerly QTP also supports these both. Running single test, you can use a run command. Next, batch testing also you can use a tool, integrated tool from HP, test batch runner, or AOM, automation object model script, or ALM, application lifecycle management tool for batch testing in UFT. Here how to conduct batch testing. Observe single test run. Okay, observe in UFT conducting single test run, simple, use run command, it will execute. In UFT conducting batch testing using test batch runner. What is test batch runner? Don't ask, it is not our syllabus. Tool, integrated tool from HP, subtool of UFT, or automation object model script, or ALM, application lifecycle management, formerly quality center tool, we can conduct batch testing. Okay. Next, in Pavani, in Selenium IDE, Selenium IDE, Pavani.
Yes, sir.
First class we discussed features of Selenium IDE, drawbacks of Selenium IDE. Recollect. Bala Subramaniam speaker not functioning. Mic. Okay. Sirisha. Okay. Vijaya. Vijaya.
Yes, sir.
How to conduct batch testing in Selenium IDE?
Selenium ID by recording.
Recording single test case, not batch test. Okay. Using facility is there. Using test suite feature or command here. How? Observe. Observe Vijaya. After creating test cases, then you can form test suite in Selenium IDE. Okay. Next, in Selenium WebDriver. In Selenium WebDriver. Jyotirmayi. In Selenium WebDriver, it doesn't have any built-in feature. No tool menus and menu items. No tool menus and items. No built-in features. Say, using programming file handling feature is there na? Programming, any programming, Java, Ruby or Python. See, file handling feature. Next, nowadays, frameworks, testing frameworks also providing annotation, but file handling support required. And testing framework, data, just a minute. Data, single word, data provider annotation. This annotation is testng annotation example. In JUnit also available. This is running. Any confusion, Pavani? What is that one? Jyotirmayi. Observe Jyotirmayi running
No,
test.
sir.
Okay. Next, come
Yes,
to
sir.
this one. Debugging test cases. Jyotirmayi. Debugging.
Yes.
Already I told Jyotirmayi, debugging is optional. Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
It's not required for all test cases, only for some test cases. What are those some test cases? I will explain the scenario. And one more thing, this debugging term related to test automation only, not applicable
Yes.
for manual testing. Getting?
Yes.
Is only programming term, development terminology. Suppose test case, you can find the term in manual testing as well as test automation. Execution,
Yes.
you can find the term in manual testing as well as test automation. Okay, doing is different, but same concept, same. But debugging test cases not applicable in manual test cases. Manual testing. Observe. Debugging feature is not applicable in manual testing. Uh, it is only for test automation, or you can say automated testing. Synonyms: automated, just a minute, automated testing. Okay. Next, here observe, Jyotirmai. First of all,
Yes, sir.
what is debugging? What is debugging? Next, when debugging is required, it is optional, I told. When it is required, next, how to debug. Okay, this I will explain in practical. Okay, come to these two. Jyotirmai, what is debugging? Locating and isolating errors. Here I am using error term, not bug. Why? In programming we use error. Mismatch or deviation from expected is error. In testing, deviation from expected is defect. That is different. Okay. Locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution is called debugging. And one more thing, this debugging is optional, okay. Usually we run our test scripts continuously. If you select run, it will execute continuously, step by step only, but continuously. If you want to run step by step, first step, wait, second step, like that, debugging required. Okay. Locating and isolating errors through step by step execution. Step by step, just a minute, execution is called debugging. Just a minute. Next important one, observe Balasubramaniam, important one, when debugging is required. Observe Preeti Joshi. Here I am going to explain 3 scenarios and identify. Suppose scenario, just small case study. Scenario 1, test case is not showing any errors while execution. Otherwise, sometimes pass, fail, otherwise error also. Test case is not showing any errors and providing correct output means desired output. Next, scenario 2, scenario 3. Suppose scenario 2, observe Jyotirmai. Scenario 2, scenario 3. Test case is, observe, test case is showing errors. If test case is showing errors, if test case shows errors, definitely you cannot expect correct output. Definitely you cannot expect correct output. No meaning of not correct output or expected desired output. Test case is showing errors. First you need to rectify the error, then try. Next, typical scenario, observe Jyotirmayi, test case is not showing any errors and not providing correct desired output. First scenario, debugging is required or not, Jyotirmayi? Test case not showing any errors and providing correct output. Here debugging required or not?
Not required, sir.
Not required. Why? Showing correct output. Not
Yeah,
required.
showing cut.
Just a minute. Not required. Observe second scenario. Test case is showing errors. Here also debugging not mandatory, optional.
It's an optional.
First try, first correct the errors, then most of the time you can get correct output. Otherwise you can think about debugging. Here also optional, not mandatory. Just a minute, some audio problem. Okay. Next, last scenario, Jyotirmayi.
Yeah, we required.
Required. Why? Test is not showing any error. If it shows errors, you
But
can
not-
correct. If it provides correct output, you can leave it. But not showing errors and not providing correct output, then debugging is required.
Out.
Required. Final conclusion, observe Vijay. Suppose we created 100 test cases. Suppose 97 tests are executing properly and providing desired output. Leave them those 97 test cases. You can think about debugging for remaining 3 test cases only. So debugging is optional. And one more thing, observe this third scenario, Preeti Joshi. Test case is not showing any errors and providing desired output. When this type of situation occurs, suppose at one point of time, observe one small case study. Suppose at one point of time we have to use x equal to a plus b. According to our test requirement, this is the desired formula. Suppose mistakenly I used x equal to a multiply b. Observe, Preeti. Is it syntax error?
No, sir.
Is it runtime error?
No.
No. Say it is not either syntax error or runtime error. But our test requirement point of view, it is error. Why? I want to add a and b, but here multiplying a and b. Instead of addition operator, I used multiplication operator. So we cannot get desired output, as well as it won't show any error. Okay, na Sirisha, getting this point?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Now observe, final conclusion. Whenever test case is not showing any error and not providing desired, or you can say correct output, there only debugging is required. How to debug, that we will discuss later. Okay. Observe, Jyotirmayi, this is about debugging, running and debugging test cases. Any confusion?
Good.
Hello? Pavani?
Yes, sir, I'm clear.
Okay. Pavani, you guide me the last step. Simple one only. Analyzing. Simple one only, Pavani. Come. Analyzing test result and reporting defects. Here two tasks are there. One is analyzing combined test results. Another is reporting defects. Observe, Pavani, analyzing test results. Is it a tool responsibility or tester means user responsibility?
User responsibility.
User responsibility. For example, this one, executing test case. Is it tool responsibility or user responsibility?
Tool
Tool
responsibility.
responsibility. Reporting defects. Is it tool responsibility or user responsibility?
User
User.
responsibility.
Here no integration available. User responsibility only. Okay. Analyzing test results. Here, first observe. First of all, Selenium ID, forget about ID, Selenium WebDriver doesn't have, all of you put mute except Pavani, Selenium WebDriver doesn't have built-in result reporting facility. Using programming control flow conditional. Suppose if x greater than y, do something, else do something. Test password, like you can define control statements using control flow statements. Next, alternate testing framework verification methods or commands. We can report result. Okay. Observe, Pavani. Suppose after executing test case, you can get a result. Okay, here WebDriver doesn't have direct facility, but we can overcome that limitation. Next, manually you analyze the test result. Actually, it will provide pass or fail, but manually you analyze the result. Then, if you find any deviation from expected, report defect. Otherwise, leave it. Getting?
Yes, sir.
And one more thing, one small case study I am providing here. This is general, not only in Selenium, general. Observe. Status of test result in, just a minute, in software testing. Say first two first two types of status important, remaining two optional, but sometimes important only. Observe. 1, pass. 2, fail. Fail. Just a minute. Fail. 3, warning. Warning. Next. 4, done. No verification point, done. Pass. When you get pass status, if expected result equals to actual results. Just a minute. Actual result. Okay, na Pavani? If expected equal to actual, then pass. Opposite. Just I am using Java not equal to symbol, but you can write English sentence not equals like. This is Java symbol. Then fail. Next, warning. Observe Pavani. When you get warning status, test script or case not executing properly. Means, suppose synchronization problem is there, that time you can get save. Whenever test script or test case is not executing properly, just a minute. Then next, Vijaya, when you get done status, it is available in UFT also, but in Selenium we usually don't use done status. Most of the time pass or fail, these two only. Anyhow, we will avoid warning status. Suppose
all our test cases
if
pass.
there is no, observe, if there is no verification points, only plain execution. Observe Vijaya, suppose UFT,
Yes,
login functionality is there. You inserted verification point after entering user ID, password and click login button. Suppose if it is successful, pass or otherwise fail. Suppose any synchronization problem in test script, then it will show warning. After that, you can rectify that problem. Next, done status. Suppose inserting transaction points concept in UFT means I am not verifying the login functionality. Example, login already verified, but I am taking transaction time. It is related to performance testing, but not for 1,000 users or 10,000 users, only per user. I want to take how much time that login operation is taking for execution. For that, we use transaction points. Here, no verification point. It will show done status only. See, transaction time 20 seconds or 15 seconds or 7 seconds. Done only. Okay, now getting this point?
Yes, sir.
These are the result statuses. Next, reporting defects. Come Vijaya. Here we already discussed reporting defects. It is not the responsibility of tool. It is our responsibility. Tester responsibility means user responsibility. Observe Vijaya.
Yes, sir.
After analyzing the result, then if you find any deviation from expected, report defects. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
After analyzing manually, after, but tool provides pass or fail status, then analyzation also simple. Analyzing test the results. After analyzing test results, then uh, after analyzing test results, if we find any mismatch or deviation deviation from expected, then reporting defects. Okay. Here observe, I will provide a small case study, Vijaya. Last topic of the week. What is that one? Functional test automation. Functional test automation versus defect management. See, defect reporting, tracking, all come under management. Observe Vijay also. Vijay Jyotirmay. Suppose for functional test automation, our company using Selenium. WebDriver, okay. Selenium. For defect management, our company is not using any tool. Just
You can
using
Excel.
Excel like that time use
Excel.
Excel like spreadsheet, that is what on defect report template. Take a launch defect report template and enter defect details. Launch defect report template. Enter defect details. Then send defect using your company internal mailing system. That is one possibility. Depends on company and project. Next, another scenario. Suppose in our company, for functional test automation, Selenium using Selenium WebDriver is using for functional test automation. For defect management, any tool, suppose Bugzilla. For test management, Jira, any one, not multiple. Then what is the defect management process, reporting process? After analyzing test results in Selenium, if you find any deviation from expected, then launch defect management tool, Bugzilla or Jira or Mantis something. Every defect management tool provides their own templates. Not sometimes, most of the tools provide customization facility. Suppose you want lengthy defect report template or small template or medium template, you can customize for your project. After analyzing the result in Selenium, launch defect management or test management tool. Defect management is part of test management, that is different. Launch defect management tool. Every tool provides their own templates. Next, enter defect details and send through your company internal mailing system. If it is UFT, one more possibility also there, Vijaya. One is
Sir.
for functional test automation UFT, defect management manual. Next, another scenario, functional test automation UFT, defect management, any tool, Bugzilla or Jira or Mantis, etc. Next, third one, for functional test automation, UFT tool for test management or defect management. Defect management is part of test management. Test management is superior. Suppose our company using ALM, formerly Quality Center, then we can send defects directly from UFT result window to ALM project without launching the ALM tool. Why? In between UFT tool and ALM, both are from same vendor, HP. Two-way integration is available. Means from UFT you can communicate with ALM and vice versa. From ALM you can communicate with UFT tool. Okay, this is a brief introduction about Selenium test process or Selenium testing life cycle. Actually, it is a roadmap for our program. In future, I will show each and every concept in detailed manner, and I am going to close the session. Tell me the confirmation. First, Bala Subramaniam. Any queries regarding this today's class? Bala Subramaniam. Not responding. Okay, Bhairappa Vijay. Vijay, any queries?
No, sir.
Welcome.
I'm good with it.
Jyotirmayi Reddy, any queries?
I am good. No, sir, I am good.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bala, okay, I received your message. Next, Pavani Yogendranath.
No, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome, Bala also. Sirisha.
Sir, parameterization, sir.
Tell me.
You said global one, right?
Ah.
I don't know the global one and local features.
That you can get more clarity in data-driven testing chapter. Means parameterization, data-driven testing, two concepts, but both are not equal. Some difference is there. What is the difference?
Okay.
Parameterization global. Global means you can find parameterization concept in all programming languages and scripting languages and databases also. Suppose in Java, parameterization is there. In C, in VB script, etc. Suppose data-driven testing only in test automation. And one more thing, we use parameterization feature in data-driven testing, Srisha. Means data-driven testing means passing multiple values. Parameterization also passing values, but not only multiple values, also passing single value. But passing single value meaningless of data-driven means parameterization is superior, means passing single value as well as multiple values. But data-driven testing means passing multiple values only. And one more thing, you asked on a global and local. Parameterization, yes, it is global feature. Why? Without software testing, you go for software development in Java, passing parameters concept is there. In Oracle, there. But no data-driven concept in Java, C, Oracle, SQL Server. Any problem, Sirisha?
That's it, sir.
Okay, cool.
That's all. Thank you.
Welcome. Smriti Pandey.
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Vijaya.
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, we will meet on Monday, same time. Thank you.